I'm just going by my screen and I see Michael Holker is here from BPD. Hello. Kathleen Panic from DV office, who is coordinating this meeting. Thank you for being here. Our OBOC director, Tondra Davis, is here. Hello, Tondra. Mitch Patoka is here in consultant services. Thanks for being here, Mitch. And Elia Ayaz at PE Services. Yes, Elia?
That is correct. Thanks, Madalena.
Sure, and doing some work here in Wisconsin as well. Scott Lowry, welcome. We've got Dale, I think at OES.
Morning.
Good morning. Michael, I can't see, it's an R, so maybe, hello, Michael.
Well, Michael Rivera is here with
Perfect.
Rivera Associates.
Thank you. All right, thanks. I couldn't see your full name. Maria Rojas and Benji Hayek are here, engineers on the DBE team. Let me see if can look at people a different way because I feel like I'm missing some attendees. Okay, so Andy Kowski, you are here from HNTB.
Good morning, everyone.
Welcome to the meeting. Also Bruce Span at SPAN. Hello, Bruce. And I know Bruce is here on behalf of NAMAC as well.
Hi,
hello.
Madeline.
Nice to have you here. Okay, did I miss anyone? Sorry, it's not as functional when I'm looking from my phone. Did I miss anybody who's joined? Okay, doesn't sound like I have. So what we are planning to do is move right on to our consultant service updates. I think you've had a chance to look at meeting minutes. Please let us know if you have any changes or additions from the last meeting, and we can make an update there. And so with that, we can move on to Mitch. And Mitch, maybe, I know we put you for consultant service updates, but certainly if Mike Holker has any updates he would like to add, that can happen in that spot too.
Sure. So I guess the big thing coming up is the construction fair. We'll be publishing the preview of all our currently known packages later today. And interviews for those will be on September 20th, and they will be over Microsoft Teams. So nobody will have to travel away from their project sites or lose an entire day for that. We've done them by Teams in the past, and they've worked quite well. Generally had positive feedback, at least for construction, but still looking to have our design opportunity day interviews later in the winter, would still be in person right now. Also coming up in the September solicitation, we'll be publishing an advance notice, will be the final design of the east-west corridor that will go from 70th to 16th Street in Milwaukee. It'll be two packages. One will be the east leg and the core interchange, and then a smaller package that will be the west leg. So hoping to provide a little bit more opportunity for firms there, that it's not just one huge package. I think those are big news for solicitations. And then just our regular DBE achievement updates. I'll share my screen. So you've probably seen this mailed out. The top half is our executed contracts. So those are what's already been done for our goal of about 12.5%. Currently anticipating about $164 million of federal funds, which would mean we need $20 million of federal funds for the DBE goal. as of right now, we are over that. And we're still looking to have a little bit more DBE participation coming up, but there's not too much more that we're anticipating. Some carryover projects would be just things like I-39 contracts continuing to come through for studies. And then our regular solicitations shown here. You can see construction fair from last year is almost done. And then other contracts would be things like work orders or other solicited contracts that haven't been identified yet. So any questions about either our achievement report or other consultant services questions?
I don't have any. It looks like it's been pretty consistent. And while there's some potential to overshoot, we're really looking at that 24 million plus achievement for this federal fiscal year, which would end in September, correct?
Correct. As far as our overshoot for part of this reporting period, at least, KL was a DBE. So we'll continue to watch that to see how numbers change with them sort of leaving the program.
Right. Yep, that's definitely a factor. When they and JT left, we knew that would provide a lot more opportunity, shall we say, for more achievement in DB consulting. And to that end, we will have an upcoming conversation with BPD to include Michael Holker and the new consultant services chief when brought on board, and Benji, our program engineer, to look at where are the best places to start setting consultant goals. So moving into federal fiscal year 24, which starts in October, we'll be giving you more information on where we're at and looking at variables that go into that goal setting. So that's what I've got. That's what Mitch has. Any questions?
Yeah, Madeline, I have a question.
Great.
Is the list we're looking at right now, are the dates on it the WSDOT fiscal year 23, or is this the federal fiscal year 23?
This is
Thank you.
federal fiscal 23.
Okay. Oh, so this is all being measured October of 22 through September of 23.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Right. And then we do other reports on the state fiscal, right, which is the July to June. So yes, we have opportunities to compare different types of numbers. But because the DBE program is federally mandated, we're always tracking on that federal fiscal year. Okay.
Madalena, since you mentioned it, I'll say for those that didn't know, Brian Porter, our former Bureau of Project Development Consultant Services Chief, has taken another position with the department. We're in the process of refilling his position and hope to, by mid to late August, have somebody fully on board. We're conducting interviews last week and this week for filling that position, just so people know, and we'll update everybody with that one when we do make a decision to hire somebody.
Okay, thank you for providing that update. And since I'm on the phone, I can't see the full landscape here. So if maybe Kathleen, you can keep an eye out if there's hands up and I'm just keep talking over someone, just please let me know and we'll call on whoever would like to add. Okay, so Benji, why don't we move over to you to talk about our goal attainment, where we are standing right now for the combination of construction and consulting in relation to our overall goal, which we're on the third year of the triennial of 12.41% overall.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I apologize. My voice is a little froggy here. But if I'm assuming you can all see my screen, and as our partners over on the consultant services side said, right now their commitments are at 22 0.6 million. So this attainment report is through the July let, and the modifications are through July 25th, and our consultant figures are coming through the end of June. As of right now, we have a total of Fed funds for construction and consulting year to date of 927 million. If you'd seen a report from last month, the projected was about 10 million higher, except we saw a net savings from what was anticipated for July. So that number did drop by around 10 million. Our DBE commitments for consulting, as already noted, is 22.6 million. Our DBE commitments for construction, which does include our modifications after contract execution, is 106.8 million. So as of the 25th, our total consultant and construction dollars committed for this fiscal year is 129.5 million. So right now our overall DBE attainment is 13.97%, which is fantastic. But I'm going to put a little disclaimer in here. We have 164 million in estimated consultant Fed funds year to date. Right now, we've seen about 140.3 million of those contract dollars executed. We had the projection of 20.3 million as discussed. Our projection for our construction Fed funded projects is 931.8 million. Year to date, including July, we're at 786.7 million in executed contracts or let contracts. Our projection for construction overall goal is 115.6 million. So the two totals for our construction and consultant Fed funded projects is just under $1.1 billion. So our overall goal at 12.41% is 136 million in DBE commitment and goal. I do want to say, though, that we have the DBE attainment will fluctuate with the August and September construction lets. Those Fed dollars have not been added to the 786 million that's reflected here. So we do anticipate, even though this number looks great, we do anticipate that this number will go down and adjust accordingly for those two remaining lets. I do have the utilization report in here, and Maria, I don't know if you wanted to go over that or if you had your own document prepared.
You know,
Go
I
ahead.
think we can just be really brief on this part since it's the construction modifications, but we just wanted this group to be
Okay.
aware.
Yeah, so real quickly then, Maria and her team have seen almost 1,000 requests for contract modifications. Out of those 1,000, she and her team have already approved almost 669 for a running total of modifications of 22,000, or I'm sorry, 22.4 million. There were also reductions of about 2.7. So right now our modifications are sitting at 19.7 million. So we appreciate the efforts that are being put forth for, contract mods after execution.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and a relevant point there that does affect our consultants is that oftentimes our project leaders are part of our consulting partner groups, and so they're oftentimes the first indication that we will get that there may be a change coming to the DB commitment because they're in there on the ground on the job working with the DBs. So thanks to you for working with your teams in the capacity that you do in terms of construction management. And if there's any point at which you want us to do any kind of educational event activity with you and your teams. If you're doing construction management, we are very happy to do that. We do travel to each of the regions during the spring sessions that the regions host, but we know there's new staff at all times, and so we're really willing to be having conversations with you at any point, because that after contract execution is really helpful, that we're capturing it and that we're also capturing reductions appropriately, because all of this then gets reported to our federal partners at FHWA. So we want to assure accuracy in what we're doing. So thanks for your help there. And that's the tie into consulting. Do you have any questions for Benji? I don't see hands. Want to give you a chance. Okay. A couple things that I wanted to note is that we have been continuing to engage in website updates, and we can share links there. But to note is that we've made our page, and Kathleen, I mean, you could share it if we just want to show somebody our landing page, since I can't easily access my screens. But we've gotten a lot of feedback. Thank you. We've gotten a lot of feedback on maybe the difficulties people had knowing where to go on the DVE website to access information. So we worked closely with a team in OWIB, which is a new office, Office of Workforce and Innovation. Is it budget? Anyways, they're really great working with us on all things creative and these types of tools. And so this is a way that you can easily access various parts of the web. And in the prime contractor resources, that does focus now heavily on construction, but the pieces that we have in place there that are being developed are for consulting and transit and aeronautics, so that we make sure that there are links there for all the types of work that we do. So this is the update to our landing page. Main menu is still at the top, so you can get to anything that might not be in those items. Important to point out is that we continue to update our resources on the DBE support services page. So stay tuned there continually, because there are resources there for all DVEs. We are building a resource guide right now, as well as a couple different guides to priming. So if you want to prime as a consultant or as a contractor, how would you go about doing that? Laying the groundwork for that with WISDOT. So keep an eye on this. If you are not a DBE, but you're working with DBEs, it's great to let them know of these resources too. This is where many people find out about mentor protege program and how that works. We do have a robust group of pairings right now on the consultant side. I believe that we have 5 pairs right now. So we will look again this year into doing what we've done in past years, where we ask a pair to come and present to us what they're working on, how the project or their action plan has been going. So that'll be upcoming probably at our next quarterly meeting. So thanks for sharing that, Kathleen. Then I'd like to just give a brief update on the last networking event that we had that was hosted by Grafe and Singh. And we came up with a compiled list, and Kathleen, that's the file that I had sent to you to share. This is feedback that we had received working with at various tables from DBEs and primes who attended this event, and us really trying to get at where are the areas of challenge and where are the areas that are working very well. Benji accommodated my buckets. I'm always talking about, let's put something in buckets so that we can work on it as a group. And so the buckets. She put the buckets there, and I decided to keep them, just because I like to bring a little levity where possible. So these are our buckets, and we focused on the DBE and prime teaming, what works there. Working with WISDOT, we did receive quite a bit of feedback from both primes and non-DBE primes and DBEs who attended that setting goals on the consultant projects would be helpful and would be an incentive to bringing in DBs. I know that seems like, yeah, that would be obvious, but the discussion we've been having in the past is, well, what would make you use the prime, right? What would make you use a DB that you haven't worked with before, though, or that you've only worked with minimally? If there's a goal, will you just work with the same firms that you're comfortable working with? And really the response was that, primes are more than willing to work with new firms. We need to be helping to open doors, to create more networking, to potentially work with ACEC more, who had and maybe Dave Burrows is here now. I'm not sure if he is. He's our liaison to ACEC, but we're wanting to take them off on the offer that new DBs to Wisconsin, or newly registered, or those interested in ACEC maybe have not worked with WISDOT, but ACEC is willing to have DBs attend the quarterly meeting and make an introduction. We also had primes offer to have a 5-10 minute intro to DBs at their weekly team meetings. So these are all, I'm not going to cover everything on this list here, but I just want to kind of let you know that we had pulled some great responses and feedback input on different things that we can do, and how we could address those challenges. So you'll be seeing a lot of these strategies also incorporated as we work on our strategic plan for growth initiative, which will be a major focus as we look towards the next triennial. So with that, I think it's a good segue to Tandra, who will share with you the upcoming triennial goal, our methodology there, and then following that, we can go into our industry check-in.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. I am getting my screen loaded for you. Give me just a moment. All right. So today I wanted to talk to everyone about our triennial goal that we recently set. And I know I'm mindful that we have delivered this presentation to quite a few groups now. So this presentation today is going to kind of be a shortened version, just so you know. So with the triennial goal and the federal finances that we receive, it's required that we make sure that there's no discrimination happening in the award of contracts that DOT has. And so across the nation, we have DBE programs, and of course, Wisconsin has one. And the goal of the DBE program is to create a level playing field so that DBEs can fairly compete for the DOT assisted contracts. And so that's why we assign project goals, and that's why we also have support services for our DBEs. That said, we have been fairly successful over the last, if you look at the last 5 years, between 2018 and 2022. Of those years, we met our goal 3 of the 5 times. And from Benji's report this morning, you can see that we're on track to meet the goal this current year. So if you add this year, you can say safely that 4 out of the 6 years we've met the goal or expected to. And a lot of meeting the goal, it involves, our success with the GFEs. and I won't go into that too deeply, but we're very pleased that this fiscal year, we only have 7 GFEs approved through, we only have 7 this current fiscal year. So with only 2 months remaining, we're really hopeful that that number remains low. This next triennium, federal fiscal year 2024 through 2026, we're expecting to have funding of $3.7 billion, which is about a $1.5 billion increase over our last triennium, 21 through 23. So, that said, we have about 70% more funds. And so certainly with the goals of the DBE program, we want to make sure that our DBEs have a part in that money. And just so you know, much of it's because of the bill, bipartisan infrastructure law. That's why the flow of money is greater. So this 70% growth, we want to make sure DB programs get attainment. They actually get dollars in their pockets, in their businesses. We also want to grow our DBEs. Madalena referenced a little bit of a grow program that we are looking to develop for DBEs. We also want to expand their work types. This next fiscal triennium, the projects that will be out there will look a little differently, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. And then also we want to make sure that our DBEs, although their headquarter locations tend to be concentrated in the South, there's going to be a lot of work in the North, and so we want to expand on that as well. So, goal setting. The way in which we set the goal is first we calculate a base figure for the goal, and then we look at that base figure and we decide whether or not we want to adjust it, right? And adjusting it is going to be based upon the location of the contracts, the types of contracts that are out there. We do kind of a median analysis to look at past attainment. And then from there, we set the goal. And setting the goal involves not only OBOC, but also we work with it, DTSD administration and the Secretary's office as well. And although a part of the methodology is the race gender neutral and race gender conscious, we won't talk about that for the sake of this presentation. So calculating the base figure. So a little math here, I apologize, but the numerator is basically the number of DBEs available, right? We want to see how many DBEs are available as it relates to the universe of those that are available to do heavy highway work. So how many of them are DBEs? And then you look at it all together, how many businesses are out there available to do heavy highway work. And so when we do that, our number of DBEs available, and we looked at, of course, our directory, our UCP directory, as well as the state of Wisconsin has certified entities. So we gathered resources to figure out how many DBEs are actually out there available in this field. And so that number is 433. And then we looked at non-DBEs as well, adding them to the DBEs. And non-DBEs, we looked at, those who had, inquired about projects, who were on projects, and things of that nature over the last 5 years. And so putting those numbers together, our base figure is 11.94%. You may know that our current goal is 12.41%, right? And so, there's a difference there. So as I said before, we calculate the base figure, and then we figure out if we want to adjust it. So one reason you could adjust your base figure is because of the location of our DBEs. I alluded to before in this graph, this map kind of shows, if you look in the southern half, and I know this may not be, completely detailed, but it's pretty obvious that the colors are in the lower or the southern part of the state. And so that's where many of our DBEs are headquartered, and versus in the north, there's fewer, right? So that said, if you look at that $3.8 billion that we're expecting in the next triennium, you'll see that how that is distributed over the state. So in the South, about 47.5% of the contracts will be there, and in the North, 52.5%. And so that's kind of about a 15% fluctuation from the last triennium. So, you know, that's something to consider as we look at our base figure. The next reason we look at our base figure to see if we're going to need to adjust it is we look at the types of contracts that are out there. So as you can see here, we grouped the contracts that are available for the next triennium, and we looked at the current federal fiscal year versus the next triennium, and you know, you can see that there's a difference, and many of them have, or a few of them have, really large changes. So if you look at pavement placement, 150% change, bridge replacement, 170%, as well as bridge rehab, right? In those areas, we don't have, you know, a whole lot of DBEs doing that type of work. So that's something to consider as we think about, should we adjust our base figure? And then the other thing we considered is past attainment. So how well have we done in the past? And as I alluded to, pretty much if you include now, 4 of the 6 years, we've met the goal. But in doing our median analysis, you look at the middle number, so there's 5 number, we look at the third largest number, 10.57, 12.1, and 13.1. That's the median number. And you average that with the base figure, and you come out with an adjustment that you could go up to 12.52%. And so given this information, we could adjust our base figure up to 12.52. So we know that 11.94 is what the ready, willing, and able, or the base figure shows. But this tells us we could go up to 12.52. So that said, let's just kind of recap everything. The 52.5% of the work is going to be in the North, and for about 48% in the South. So it's kind of different. So we're going to have to expect that our DBEs will be able to travel like they've done in the past. And we also are going to have to grow them. You know, it'd be great to grow more DBEs in the North. And then we have significant work types that aren't aligned with the DBE expertise. And so we're going to need to work with our DBEs and try to help them grow in the areas where this work is needed. And again, we met the goal 4 of 6 years, and we met it by at least 0.8%, roughly. And so the median analysis allows us to go up to 12.5. So again, I told you, in consultation with our administrative office, DTSD, as well as the secretary's office, we decided that we would adjust our goal from 12.41, which is what it was in the last triennium, to 12.42%. So this allows, you know, we could go up all the way to 12.52, but given the constraints that we talked about, the location of the DBEs, the work types, we felt comfortable going up, because we certainly want to continue to get attainment for our DBEs. We want to continue to grow and make the playing field as level as possible. And so 12.42% is the number we set the goal at. And so for the next triennium, we are expecting, as we showed on the very first slide, each year $1.2 billion. And if you multiply that by the goal, we're hoping for $157 million each year annually for the DBEs and attainment. And so although it's only a 0.01 increase in the goal, it's going to allow for almost $18 million for attainment when you look at it over the last fiscal year, federal fiscal year 22, when we had about 139 million. This is a 12.8% increase. Certainly this goal is aspirational. I don't believe we've had this much attainment And we know that we have our work cut out for us, that growth is required. And so with that, I talked about, growing the numbers of DBEs. If you know businesses who are out there who are not currently certified, please send them our way in the heavy highway. We need to grow the capacity. Some DBEs are only perhaps certified to do certain NAICS codes, but they have the capability to expand, and we want to capture that. And of course, expanding location. And certainly we want to educate our DBEs so that they can be in position to get these contracts and be subcontractors and be primes if they wish to be. And so we're leveraging our partnerships with entities like you so that we can really look forward to a successful triennium 2024 through 2026. So that said, are there any questions? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do this. I'm trying to. Can everyone hear me?
I see
quiet.
Bruce has his hand.
Oh, great. Hi, Bruce.
Hello, Tandra. Yes, with respect to the percentage change in the north, are the regional directors also looking to encourage the staff in the north, west, central, and east regions to think more about firms here in the southeast, particularly, again, with my bias of the consultant side? Design projects we can do, of course, anywhere around the world and just be there when necessary. For especially consultant services on design opportunities in those upper regions, are there going to be a consideration for firms like ours here in Southeast to provide opportunities to work with the firms that we work with now, as well as establish new relationships with other firms that are primarily in the northern part of our state?
Bruce, I will attempt to answer that, and certainly Madeline and Benji, if you have thoughts, please let me know. But certainly this is the report we just literally submitted last week to FHWA. So now that we've submitted our report, now we're going to work on making sure that we meet the goal, and of course, trying to leverage working with consultants as well as construction businesses in the north would be a factor of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bruce, you're right. And that's something that we have been encouraging for a while, related to design work that can be done from anywhere. We've tried to focus on that also in encouraging pairings in the mentor protege program, that it is okay for a southeast and a northwest pair to get together, because maybe there's a few trips where the DBE needs to come from northwest to southeast to look at the site, or there's certain meetings to be there for, but really we can work from a distance. And I think that also was strengthened, the ability to do this through all of our experiences with COVID. So yes, we are encouraging that type of growth, and then of course we're going to need to look on the construction side for how to encourage DBs to maybe work outside of the regions they're currently in, and then also building in the regions where we see very few.
I'll just add in, I think Madeline, you hit on it, that it is a little more difficult on the construction side because it's continuous being in one location. So there's additional costs that go with that. But I think we've been having some conversations with Madeline and her group about what we can do to grow the program, and these discussions I think will be part of that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Thanks for that question and input.
Yeah,
Bruce.
thanks for your input.
Of course. Does anyone else have anything they want to add? we'll do our kind of industry check-in and then go around to everybody. But if you have anything specific for Tandra on that goal presentation, please ask. Oh, Angela, do you have your hand up?
Yes, I just, how do you get, so from the, kind of to build off of Bruce's question, how do you get, I'll get on the camera, sorry. How do you get your project managers, your WisDOT project managers, do they kind of go through this training, for lack of better words? Because kind of to Bruce's question, you know, we're up in the Northwest region, but I don't know if the project managers have kind of bought into the DBE as much as down in your Southeast region. I hate to say it that way, but do you have kind of like internal WisDOT training, meetings to kind of encourage this?
Yes. So we do. And we've more recently added Northwest into our strategic presence. We've always participated in the construction training, those conferences in the region every month. And so now I was physically present there at this last one, and that was really great to be able to talk to project managers. I knew the chiefs from before, but not really project managers. So that was good. And Benji and others on our team also participated in a Northwest event that traveled kind of part of the state, and some of those were hosted at our regional offices. So that's Northwest specific. But yes, we have an effort to be working with each of the regions. So those are more the internal conversations at supervisor level to project manager to project leader. Sometimes it's specific because we realize like, oh, there's an issue. So why don't we take this opportunity to get everybody together and talk about what we're doing. So that I would say we've made a lot of progress there, but it's something that is always needing a sort of a continual effort from us as staff change, as new people are in leadership roles. I think overall, WisDOT has come a long way in seeing the DBE program as an integral part of what we're doing. And then on the various levels of participants, we're doing more of that either group or one-on-one discussion.
Awesome. Thank you.
You asked?
Yep.
I
No,
guess going on for a
perfect.
little-
No.
Okay.
I just, yes, you going out to the other regions and kind of promoting this is awesome. I think that's very helpful. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Okay, I'm not seeing other hands, so why don't we move around into our check-ins? I will kind of jump around here though, so that we do the way that they're listed on the agenda here, but then I'll come to each of you as well. So ACEC, is Dave here or another ACEC emissary? I see there's an 847 number that's on now that I probably didn't call out before. Not sure.
It's Harvin. I got on late.
Oh, okay. Hi, Harvin. All right, so be ready. I'm coming around to you as we move along here.
Okay, I
okay.
might have
So
to. I'm stuck in a thunderstorm, so I might have to get off.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's
Well,
all right.
then
So
let's
if
stay
I'm
with
not
you
on,
right now.
okay.
Do you have any questions or comments you want to add?
No, I understand the methodology. I think Bruce's question and I believe it was Angela's question are important to get WisDOT on board, and then sorting out how to have stronger goals on the design side would be my only concern.
Great.
Which Bruce brought up already.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, thank you. So I don't hear an ACEC rep here, but Michael Holker, do you know if we can get DB program can get onto the next quarterly meeting so that we can provide an update to ACEC on where we're at with the goal setting and just do kind of a regular check-in? I was trying to do that quarterly, but I think I missed. I'm not on a regular invitation
Um,
list.
Yeah, I will send a note to them. Their next meeting is October. I actually just met
Okay.
with them last week about starting to talk about that meeting, but I'll send them a note.
Okay, great, thanks. And then if you just tell me the date and then I'll hold some time too. Okay, thank you. NAMAC, all right. So Bruce, thank you for being here on behalf of NAMAC. Any information you would like to share with us?
Well, no information except just a couple of items. We certainly are still watching and hopeful that the programs for the DEI at the local level, the state has been looking at budgets such that could have a bad impact on DVE or minority participation programs, especially in the city of Milwaukee and Milwaukee County. So just want to make sure that we still are on record that we're certainly concerned about that, and we would not like to see that be impacted, because there are a lot of members in NAMAC that are not DVE, and so they're counting on their participation at the more local level with the city and the county. And so that's one item. And I guess also related partly again to my consultant hat is the legislature's taking a look at, again, funding for education, and particularly the UW system. All of us consultants, all of us companies, period, are really looking for more people, and especially the engineering services area. We certainly do need more staff. If I had more staff, I'd love to actually hire folks and open an office in the North regions, but it's really a challenge right now, and I'm really hopeful that the legislature is going to continue to give the funding necessary to the UW and higher education system, so that our technicians and engineers do still become available in state, because again, it's a very challenge even for the larger firms, and so even more so for someone like my small business and Harvin's. And that's all I wanted to say about
Yes.
with respect to NAMAT.
Okay, well, thank you for that. And certainly we're sharing your concerns and keeping an eye on those things as they develop as well. So this is a good forum for having those types of conversations. So thank you, Bruce. I did see that Tim is also here from NAMAC, and wanted to give you a chance, Tim, if you had any NAMAC information you want to share adding on to Bruce.
No, thanks so much for the opportunity, but I think Bruce nailed it. I mean, everything he said was, what I would have commented on, but I think he encapsulated our, concerns, at this particular juncture greatly. So I don't have anything additional to add.
Okay, thank you, Tim.
Sure.
We can move on to FWA. Jada. I thought I saw Jada's name here. I'm not seeing her now, though.
I think she just stepped out. I thought I seen a note in chat.
Yeah,
from
she
her.
sent a note. She had to jump off for another meeting.
Okay, all right. So our FHWA update will be that they have received our draft triennial goal report for the upcoming DBE goal, and they are reviewing it. The DBE office, well, I think you heard from us. Rosalind is out, so she is not able to give you any of her event updates that she ordinarily does. I think that we had sent out a save the date for our upcoming DBE annual workshop and networking summit, which is February 28th and 29th, again in the Dells. So more information will be forthcoming as that develops. We are working on a networking event that will happen in the Southeast region, September, that would be open to consultants and contractors. So stay tuned and more information coming there. I don't know if, Mitch, you had mentioned that golf outing that is August 19th. It's Southwest. Oftentimes it's not a WISDOT event, but there are WISDOT attendees and participants there. And and I think a lot of consultants join that. I've sent out information on that, but anybody interested who doesn't know what I'm talking about, just message me and I will send you information on that. Okay, so let's go over to Andy. Do you have anything you would like to add or any questions, Andy?
No questions, but just for the group's knowledge, we're partnered up with SPAN, with a mentor protege relationship, and got the MOU signed last month, and just this past week we sat down to start mapping out an action plan, and I look forward to finalizing that with Bruce, and then sending that over to the DBE office for your review and eventual approval. So we're looking forward to working together on this.
Great. Thanks so much for adding that. We are very happy about that as well, and happy to provide support along the way. So thank you for adding. Angela, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, I don't. All is well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bruce, I know you spoke on behalf of NAMAC. Did you have anything you wanted to add as Bruce Spann?
No, I would have otherwise added what Andy just did, which is we're really excited about the formalizing a mentor protege relationship with HNTB. We've been, I guess, unofficially in a mentor protege program for, well, since I've been in business, since 2006, because HNTB has also been a very instrumental part of our client base and helping us win work, and we're also excited that we're working with them in the Southwest region, although it's with the city of Madison. But we're really excited about this opportunity to team with HNTB.
Great. Well, thank you, and be prepared for when we come to both of you and say, all right, we're ready for you to present an update and host a networking session.
Sure.
We'll be coming to you.
We'll be ready.
Thank you. And because we were just talking about mentor protege, Angela's company, Stevens, is also in a mentor protege relationship with AIRS. So I don't know if you want to speak to that just a little bit, Angela, since we got on talking about
Yes.
mentor protege.
I should have mentioned that. Yes, we have a mentor protege with AIRS. We just submitted our first NOI for a project in the Northwest region. So looking forward to, we have our action plan, but looking forward to really putting it in motion with having a project to go after. So
Great.
see what happens.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excited about that one too. Yes, thank you. Dale at OES, what would you like to add?
Hello, not much to add. Matt apologizes for not being able to be here. I think he's at the same event for ACEC as Dave Bros, so
Okay.
that probably is a reason for those two. But I think it's a good summary of all the goal setting and status of where everything's at. I think I would ditto all the comments made by the other industries, Bruce and Harvin and Angela. Obviously things are busy out there for everybody. Resources, maintaining resources, growing resources is a challenge across everybody in the industry. And, I think there's a lot of opportunities that are out there, and it's just a matter of focusing on a good fit for everybody. So yeah, appreciate the updates.
Yeah, thank you. And that's a good point. WISDOT does focus a lot on the labor development side of things, and also looking at programs that are in schools, encouraging kids to go into engineering or to consider the trades. And so we're really cognizant of those needs, and being engaged with and helping to lead efforts to be developing that pipeline, because we know that it doesn't happen overnight, right? You need skilled labor and skilled designers or construction managers, and so it's got to start early.
It's going to be interesting to see the direction this goes with the graduation of KL and, as you say, JT, and how the industry evolves around that, because there's going to be plenty of opportunity out there.
There will certainly be that. So, okay, well, thanks for your contributions.
Sure. Thanks.
I'm going to save Tondra for the end. So let's skip over to Elia. Any updates or comments from you?
Too much, Madeline. Thanks. We were recently selected to do the project coordinator position for WISDOT out of the Northwest Regional Office. So we are thrilled to assist WISDOT with that, and looking forward to getting that contract executed and starting to help you guys coordinate your projects in the Northwest region.
Fabulous. Thank you for that update. Benji, anything you'd like to add?
No, but just thank you to everybody who is so invested. I mean, with the mentor protege pairings that we've had, and the networking and the interaction, and whenever I call, everybody makes time. So thank you so much for being so invested and working with us. We appreciate that, and we're just here to work together. So big shout out to all you guys for all your engagement in this.
Yes, thank you. We definitely can't do it without our whole team collaborating together. So I echo those comments. Michael Holker, anything else you'd like to add?
I do not have anything else to add.
Okay, thank you. Keisha at Prism, I see you've joined us. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Hello, everyone. I don't have anything, but just saying hi. Hope everybody is having a
Okay.
good week.
All right, thank you for being here. Skippy Scott, I'll come to you at the end. Michael Rivera, anything you'd like to share?
Really nothing to share, but just wanted to echo the thoughts of Bruce Spann with the legislation and the focus on limiting access to opportunities, and really we need to try and change that to benefit DBEs and minority-owned businesses. But I like the information we shared today, and looks like we're headed in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for continuing to stay engaged. Kathleen, do you have anything to add?
No, I have no further comments. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Mitch, anything from you?
Nothing else from me right now.
All right, thanks for being here. Randy Crump, hello, sir.
Hi, sorry about coming on late. I had a couple of deadlines I had to meet. But on the issue of needing more technical talent, we've run a internship program funded by MMSD for the last dozen years, and it is not getting any easier getting young people into engineering, and particularly civil engineering and construction management, because it's not something that they see every day in their life. And it's just a shame to push kids away from our local great institutions because they're attracted to places that have traditionally had their arms open for diverse talent, and not just diverse talent, all students.
Mm-hmm.
And this has been a particularly demanding period going through COVID. Kids got knocked off their game because not everybody's good at going to school remotely. It's been a challenge.
It really has. Yeah, I know that while I've now kind of gotten away from the conversation about labor development, as that's gone into more the labor compliance side of things on Michael Stoudy's team, I certainly recognize the importance of focusing on labor development, talent development, skill development for DBEs, as most companies end up coming into a place where they can generate more wealth when it's more than one person operating and running everything, right? So DBs certainly need labor too. And so to the extent that I can, I will stay engaged in those efforts that WISDOT has underway, and make sure that we're reporting back the types of things that we're doing and getting your ideas as well, as we move forward, in all of the opportunities that we want to help people capture, but then also helping to set them up for success to do so. So thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Maria Rojas, do you have anything you would like to add?
No, thank you so much.
Okay, and Tim, I did ask you if you had anything to add on behalf of NAMAC, but do you have anything to add on behalf of Tim McMurtry?
I'm Tim McMurtry and I approve this message. No, ma'am, I don't have anything.
Ah, there you go. All right, you approve this meeting too? Thank you.
That part as
Okay,
well.
perfect, thanks. So now, why don't we, Tandra, maybe you can say some words in closing, and then Scott can take us out to the rest of our day.
All right, awesome. So I just, first of all, I want to thank everyone for joining the meeting today and just hearing the discussion around labor development. Just kind of want to provide an update. As Madalena mentioned, Michael Stoudy's team, which is under the umbrella of OBOC, they really are developing kind of a robust labor plan. Really starting to look at going to construction career days for high schools as well as colleges or whatever, to really put the heavy highway information, in the lap of the students so that they can see. And then, of course, our former TRANS program that is now the Highway Construction Skills Training. We're really working, closely with that group. Also, I just want to thank those who are in mentor-protege partnerships. Truly, that is so great to hear of the pairings that we have, and encourage your peers, your colleagues to participate in that program. It certainly will help us develop our DBEs. And then finally, just underscoring the save the date, February 28th and 29th for our annual event. We are we are planning for it, and we certainly want to make sure that you all are invited and a part of it. So that's all I have. So Scott.
Thanks, Tandra. Thanks, Madalena. And thanks, everybody else. I guess listen to everybody and even the comments at the end. Even though there's a lot of challenges in front of us, there's the passion and the continuing to ask questions. I think that's the biggest thing for me, is how can we get better? And I think this group is a testament to that you keep on bringing questions to Madalena and say, hey, what about this? Hey, what about that? And the same thing to Tandra and her teams. I think that's how we get better, is groups like this continue to bring ideas and questions to us. So very grateful to be part of this.
Great. Well, thank you. I'm very grateful you are all part of this, and that we have such great engagement. So as always, reach out to me or my team at any point. You don't have to wait for the next quarterly meeting. We're here for you in between, and I'm happy to answer any questions we can, point you in the right direction if we can't answer the question, and use your feedback to help make our programs better. So with that, have a great rest of your day.